Chapter 13. Scalp Belt. The day after Caddie's ride to the Indian camp, life settled into the old routine. The neighbors went home again. No charred black ruins awaited them. The sturdy wilderness houses were just as they had left them, only dearer than ever before, and in the log barns hungry cows bawled lustily for food. Everyone recognized now that the massacre scare, which had started in the tavern, had been a false alarm. But the terror which it had inspired was not easily forgotten. Many people left the country for good, making their slow way eastward, their few possessions piled high in wagon or cart, their weary cows walking behind. Tales of bravery or cowardice during the scare were told and retold around the winter fires, and at last people were able to laugh at them instead of trembling. One of the tales the people of Dunville loved best was of the fiery old man upriver, who, although past 60, left his old wife to defend the homestead with the only gun they owned, while he set out empty-handed to fight the Indians. But although it all came to nothing and folks could laugh at the massacre scare at last, still it left with many people a deeper fear and hatred of the Indians than they had ever felt before. The Indians themselves understood this. Now that the excitement was over, they were safe from even the most cowardly of the white men. But nevertheless they prepared to leave their bark huts and move westward for a time. They felt the stirring of the sap in the trees. A smell of spring in the winter air lured them. The old women made bundles of their furs and blankets and cooking pots and put them on pole and buckskin litters. The ponies pranced, the dogs barked, the Indian men refitted bowstrings, polished knives and guns, and prepared the canoes for a long portage over the ice. One day, soon after the scare, when Caddie came home from school, she saw an Indian pony tied to the rail fence near the kitchen door. Clara ran out of the front door to meet her. "Oh, Caddie," she said, "do hurry. Indian John's in the kitchen, and he wants to see you. He won't say a thing to the rest of us. Father's away, and Mother and Mrs. Conroy are nearly frightened out of their wits. He's got his horrible old dog with him, and his Scalp Belt, too." Caddie ran around the house and opened the kitchen door. Between the cook stove and the table sat John, bolt upright, with a large piece of dried apple pie in each hand. Solemnly he bit into first one piece and then the other, Mother and Mrs. Conroy peeping timidly at him from the dining room door the while. His scalp belt lay on the kitchen table beside the empty pie tin and the clean fork and plate which city-bred Mother had laid for him so daintily. At his feet lay his dog, licking its front paw with a slow red tongue. "Why, John, I'm glad to see you," said Caddie. She stooped and patted his dog. The dog stopped licking his paw for a moment and looked at Caddie with affectionate eyes. "Him hurt," said John. "Him caught foot in trap." Caddie bent closer over the foot. "Why, so he did. Poor thing." "You like him, dog?" asked John. Absently he opened a square of calico which he had tied to his belt, disclosing an odd assortment of bones, bits of fat, and odds and ends of food. To this collection he added the last scrap of the dismembered pie, folded up the cloth, tied it again to his belt, and then knelt down to examine the dog. "Of course I like him. He's a good dog." "Missy Red Hair got no dog?" "No," said Caddie slowly, her eyes filling with tears. "Nero, our dog, he's lost." "Look, John, he go way. John's people go way. John's dog can no walk. John go far, far. Him dog no can go far. You keep?" "Yes, John," said Caddie. "I'll keep him for you. May I, Mother?" Mrs. Woodlawn nodded at her from the dining room door. "Oh, I'll be so glad to keep him, John. I love to have a dog." Good, said John. He straightened himself and folded his arms. Look, Missy Redhair, you keep Scalp Belt too. The Scalp Belt? Echoed Caddie uncertainly. She felt the old prickling sensation up where her scalp lock grew as she looked at the belt with its gruesome decorations of human hair. Him very old, said John, picking up the belt with calm familiarity. John's father, great chief, him take many scalps. Now John no do. John have many friend. John no want scalp. You keep? John held it out. Gingerly, with the tips of her thumb and first finger, Caddie took it. What shall I do with it? She asked dubiously. You keep, said the Indian. John come back in moon of yellow leaves. John go now. Far, far. Him might lose. You keep? Yes, said Caddie, I keep. When you come back in the moon of yellow leaves, I will have it safe for you, and your dog too. Missy Redhair, good girl, said John. He drew his blanket around him and stalked out. From the doorway, Caddie watched him go. His dog limped to the door too, and Caddie had to put her arms around his neck to keep him from following. Goodbye, John, she called. Have a good journey. John was already on his pony. He raised an arm in salute and rode quickly out of the farmyard. Well, of all things, cried Mrs. Woodlawn, bustling into the kitchen with a great sigh of relief. You do have a way with savages, Caroline Augusta Woodlawn. I declare this kitchen smells to heaven of smoky buckskin. Let's open all the windows and doors for a minute and let it out. And for mercy's sake, Caddie, put that awful scalp belt somewhere in the barn. I couldn't sleep of nights if I knew it was hanging in my house. Caddie took the scalp belt and the dog out to the barn. She hid the scalp belt in a safe, dry place where she could easily get it to show the boys. They had gone part way to Ogal to meet father. Wouldn't they be green with envy when they knew what they had missed? There was an empty box stall in the barn. In it, Caddie made a nice bed of hay for John's dog. She washed his hurt foot in warm water and brought him a bowl of warm milk. Then she covered him with an old horse blanket and sat beside him, stroking the rough head. He was an ugly dog, without Nero's silky coat and beautiful eyes, but he licked her hand gratefully, and already Caddie loved him. I've got a dog, she whispered to herself. I've got a dog of my very own to keep until John comes back. And she was unaccountably happy. So the boys found her when they burst into the barn a few moments later. Ma says you've got Indian John's scalp belt. Let's see it, let's see it. All right, but no snatching. I've got to keep it nice for John when he comes back. Keep it nice, jeered Warren. I never knew a scalp belt could be nice. Well, this one is, Master Warren, said Caddie, displaying her treasure, and we're going to keep it so. Hetty and little Minnie crowded after Tom and Warren. It was a simple buckskin belt ornamented with colored beads, and from it hung 3 long tails of black hair, each with a bit of shriveled skin at the end. Ooh, 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 said Hetty. Is it real hair off people's heads? Sure, said Tom, lifting a lock of Hetty's hair and pretending to amputate it. Just like this. Bing, bing, and you're a dead one. Ooh, ooh, don't let him scalp me, Caddie, wailed Hetty. He's just trying to tease you, Hetty. The louder you yell, the better he likes it, advised Caddie. It's Indians, not white folks' scalp locks, anyway, said Warren. See how black they are? But how about a nice long red one to surprise John when he comes back? Continued Tom. Hetty's would look so pretty. Where's the butcher knife, Warren? Help, help, wailed Hetty. I'll tell father on you, so I will, and I guess he'll tan your hide for you good and proper, Tom Woodlawn. Tom laughed. Baby, he said. I wouldn't hurt you, don't you know that? But listen, Caddie, I've got an idea. Spit it out, said Caddie calmly. Well, look, said Tom. All the children will want to see this scalp belt. Why don't we make some money on it?" "Money?" echoed Caddie incredulously. "However could we make money on a scalp belt?" "Well, maybe not exactly money, but we could charge pins or marbles or arrowheads or whatever anybody had to give us to let them take a peep. Do you see?" "Yes," said Caddie, her face brightening. "Yes, I see. A sort of peep show." "But we couldn't let them handle it, Tom. John will come back for it in the fall, and it would be terrible if it were all worn out. It belonged to his father, who was a great chief, and who cut off those scalps himself. John's so proud of him." Said Tom. "I'm glad I've got something better than that to be proud of my father for. But listen, Caddie, we won't let them touch the old thing. When you said peep show, it gave me another idea. We'll hang it up in a box with a little curtain in front of it, and after the children have paid their admissions, we'll draw back the curtain and let them take a look." "What a bully idea!" shouted Warren. Even Hetty forgot to look grieved and put upon, and shouted, "Bully!" "That's fine, Tom," said Caddie, "and maybe we can get a candle end to light it up like a real stage. You remember the torches at the medicine show we saw in St. Louis?" "You bet," cried Tom, "and we'll make a sign, too. What was John's father's name, Caddie?" "I don't know. Couldn't we just make up a name?" "Sure," cried Warren. "How about Big Chief sit on the fire and put it out?" "Oh, that's too silly, Warren." "Big Chief Redbird with a white feather in its tail," suggested Hetty. "Too long and hard to print." "I know," said Tom. "Chief Bloody Tomahawk. How's that? His tomahawk must have been bloody when he got done cutting off scalps." "Ooh, you give me the shivers, Tom," wailed Hetty. "All right," agreed Caddie. "We'll call it Big Chief Bloody Tomahawk's favorite scalp belt." "As if he had lots more and just tossed this one off in a jolly moment," chuckled Tom. "Let's have the show next Saturday afternoon." "All right, let's." "Oh, please, may I tell?" begged Hetty. Suddenly they all looked at her, and astonishment and delight dawned slowly over their faces. At last Hetty was going to be useful. "Sure, Hetty," cried Tom. "Tell everybody you see. Tell everybody in the whole country. The more children that come, the more we make. Go ahead and tell everybody." Hetty could not believe her ears, thus to be urged to tell, when usually they set upon her and held her mouth at the very suggestion of telling anything. She looked from one to another for confirmation. "Go ahead," said Caddie kindly. "Didn't you hear Tom say so? They really meant it." With an exclamation of delight, Hetty raced away for her bonnet and mittens. What a lot of telling she could do before Saturday afternoon. Until next time.